Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to do another rant of the week. And this week, we're going to talk about Force Friday. Now, I understand, don't get me wrong, I fully understand. It's not a Transformer rant, it's a Star Wars rant more than anything. But at the same time, the same principles can apply to Transformers on this. And a lot of people had the same problem when it came to the Force Friday. There were no figures. They sold out so quick, and it wasn't like anything I've seen before when it comes to first releases of figures, and where just nothing was available. It was all gone, and from what I've seen online, a lot of people went through the same problems. That being only having most stores only got about one case of the new Star Wars Black figures, the 6-inch collectible figures. They got more of the 3 3/4 figures, but those also sold out real quick. And what we were left with were all the kid toys, which they ordered tons of. Trust me, there are piles of them everywhere. There's the toy lightsabers, the mask, the little RC, whatever that ball thing is. It's not that I don't like Star Wars. It's just I'm trying not to get spoiled by doing all this research on characters. So my only request on this is don't post in the comments who's who and who does what, because I want to go into this movie, like, oh my god, this is awesome. Oh my god, I hadn't seen that. Oh my god, I didn't expect that, because I don't read any of the expanded universe for that sole purpose, because if they can pull off any kind of twist ending like they did in Empire Strikes Back, when you first watch it and you don't know what's going on, you're like, So yeah, I'm trying to stay out of that. So, but whatever the little ball thing is, they had the RC ones of those and a ton of those Hero Mashers. Seriously, who buys those Hero Mashers? Honestly, I mean, those things are just stupid. And there's Star Wars ones, there's X-Men one, I think there's DC ones, there's Transformer ones, and you can interchange all their parts. It's just like nobody cares. Oh my god, those things suck. But anyway, so back on topic. Most stores only got one case of the Star Wars Black figures, from what I read. Now, is that 100% accurate? I don't know. But from what I've heard and what people have said, there's maybe 2 of each figure. Like up to 20 figures total. Some stores like Toys R Us, people were reporting seeing 4 of each figure, but that's it. I searched Friday, just because a friend of mine wanted me to go look and see if I could pick up some stuff for him, and I looked. I didn't see anything. Not a damn thing. The entire store was empty. I talked to the guy there, and I was like, man, did you guys sell out that fast? And the guy is like, I forgot to put the order in. So, Walmart got nothing because dude forgot to. I mean, they had the display stands and everything, but he forgot to order the toys. So that's just stupid. Every other store I went to, I asked them, I'm like, hey, did you guys sell out of everything? And they're like, yeah, it went real quick. So some of them did open up at midnight, but they sold out of all the figures. Now, here's my problem. The real meat of the rant. If you're going to have a special event of selling toys, and it opens at midnight, what is it that you think is going to sell the most of? What do you think you need to stock the most of? Is it going to be the Hero Mashers and the other Star Wars toys that are for real young kids to play with? Or is it going to be for the hardcore collectors, the adult collectors that are standing in line waiting for the doors to open at midnight? I wonder. It's not that difficult to figure that one out, because that's what's selling the toy. That's what's the big seller. You don't see like some kid's video game being sold at midnight, like the day of its release. Like, 12 a.m. we're gonna be selling some kid's game, like let's say Frozen or something like. I don't know. I don't play that many video games, and I don't play kids video games. But I have stood in line for the new release of the Xbox 360 with my roommate. He was really wanting to get it. I stood in line to get Black Ops 2 because I wanted it. I didn't even have a PlayStation 3 at the time. I was just like, I want this. I just want to have it. And it was fun. It was great. People love stuff like that. Collectors love that because it gets them out. It makes them go to the store. It's 12 o'clock in the morning, so the only other people that are standing in line are other collectors that are looking for the same stuff that you're looking for. So there's all this common ground. People talk. People are having fun. It's great. And then you get in the store, and there's 2 copies of each figure. So you got 30 people in line waiting to get in there, and they're all looking for the Star Wars Black figures. And there's only 2 of each character. Is that enough for everybody to go around? And yes, there's a slight problem when it comes to the collectors, because if I'm going to be out at midnight to go to that store and buy that set, I've saved my money. I'm buying the set. I'm buying every figure in the line. So I'm going to take 1 of every figure. And then the next collector is going to do the same exact thing. So 2 people out of those 30 people that were standing in line are going to get their figures. That's it. The rest of the people are going to wander around the store. They might pick up a Lego set. They might pick up some of the 3 3/4 inch sets. But the 3 3/4 inch sets were selling almost as fast as the Black Series. And that sucks. And this is one where I'm not going to sit here and say Hasbro's to blame on this one. It's the retailers. You don't see the online retailers having this problem for the most part. Like the Slingshot and Breakdown? Wild Rider. Slingshot and Wild Rider figures. They went online and they sold out quick. And that's Hasbro's fault, because they didn't want to sell it in stores, and they didn't want to make a mass release of it. They did limited edition, so they sold out fast, and that sucked for a lot of people. A lot of people wanted them, and not everybody got them. Just making sure the mic's on. So that sucked. And that one I can easily sit there and say Hasbro's to blame on that. This one I'm not going to say Hasbro's to blame, because Hasbro can't control how much store orders. The store is the one that's responsible for that. And they don't order enough product to sell to the fans. They don't get enough stuff to sell to the collectors. Now, this is same with the Transformers. I've been piecing this together too, just in my area. I don't know about everyone else's area. But Combiner Wars, now, they were shelf warming. That first wave was shelf warming, and the Silverbolt is still shelf warming. Minosaur's everywhere up here, and and now all the Walmarts in my area have the Leader Megatrons again. I mean, piles of Leader Megatrons of both colors. They're everywhere. Again, but now the deluxe figures, they're gone. I mean, they get on the shelf and they're out the door. They're only getting, from the stalkers that I've talked to, they're only getting 2 of each figure. Again, because they don't want them to shelf warm and not sell. So they're only buying 2 of each figure. So even with a dozen stores in the area and you only got 2 of each character, so that's 24 of each character, you've got to contend with the scalpers that are out there buying everything they can so that nobody else can get it, so that they can make the demand on their own and sell it for a higher price. And then you get the collectors. And I can promise you there's more than 24 Transformer collectors in my area. Let alone Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is bigger than Transformers. I don't like to admit it, but it's true. When a Star Wars has an event, they come by the hundreds, not by the 2 dozens. One store's got enough. One store of the people that were waiting in line had enough people there to buy the entire Star Wars black stock out in a 50-mile radius. And that's one store. That's not including all the other stores where people are sitting there waiting to get in. So it's just ridiculous that they didn't order enough. And like I said, same things goes with the Transformers. And some retailers have got this impression that the collectors are gone. There's not enough collectors to create the demand. That's not true. There's more collectors now than, in my opinion, there's more collectors now than there have ever been in any genre. Because now it's acceptable to be a geek, to have a collection. Transformers, Marvel Legends, Star Wars, Star Trek, you name it, it's okay. Back when I was a young kid, it was not okay. People frowned on it, so the collectors would hide their collections from people. Now it's like, hey, check out this. And, people come over like, that's pretty cool. Some people are like, maybe you need to grow up. Some people don't get it, but it's more acceptable. Part of the reason is shows like Big Bang Theory, where it's showing that geeks are cool too. And so on and so forth. People are more accepting to this hobby. So the collectors are there. If anything, they're stronger than they've ever been. They're willing to spend more money than ever before. The Transformer community is perfect example of that, because there's so many people out there that are willing to spend $100-something a piece on all these third-party figures. $100 to $200, not to mention the Masterpiece figures. They're there. They're buying these things. But the stores don't think they are. They don't see it. I don't understand why they don't see it. They just don't want to pull their head out their ass and see it. They've been burned in the past. There's no question there. They've been burned. Walmart had the exclusive Skywarp and Masterpiece Skywarp back in the day, and they had to discount that figure down so heavily. I picked up 2 for like $20 plus insurance, which was pretty awesome. But the and the alternators line, that just shelf warmed, but that was because nobody really wanted that, and nobody really was. And Masterpiece was too early in its stages to really be a truly sought after commodity. Now look at Toys R Us. Yeah, they've had to discount some of the Seekers, but look at MP10. I mean, that thing gone. Everyone I've seen, the Soundwave, oh my god, that thing flew. I still have yet to see one in the store. I saw I saw some of the really crappy exclusives, like the Cybertron Starscream, the Supreme Class one. I saw that one. That's still sitting in one of my Toys R Us's, just shelf warming. I saw Blue Streak yesterday. He's got 2 left in one Toys R Us that I've seen, or Silver Streak, whatever you want to call him. Blue Streak, yeah, Streak, whatever. So it's just, I don't get it. I think like I said, the main problem is the retailers not realizing that the collector base is bigger than it's ever been. And if they start catering to the collectors more, they will sell more stock. Yes, there's going to be some figures that aren't going to sell very well. That's true of almost any line. But for the most part, I mean, look at alternators. Back then, they were $20 a piece. They were, for the time, they were in the higher end collectors category. And a lot of those did fly off the shelves pretty quickly, but some of them that they would buy more of, too many of, they would shelf warm because there was only so many collectors in the area. If they were to redo alternators right now and sell them for like, $25 to $30 a piece and made them look like G1 characters, almost like a almost masterpiece car, I promise you, even up to $40, I promise you, those things would not stay on the shelves. Because a lot of MP collectors would be like, you know what, I'm waiting for a good Sunstreaker to come out, an MP Sunstreaker, but here's this alternator one that looks pretty close. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy him instead. I think almost all collectors will do that. Even with my Rant of the Week last week, somebody said that if somebody did the red Bumblebee, an upgrade kit to make it look like Cliffjumper, they would buy it because, I almost guarantee you they would buy the real Cliffjumper when that comes out. But for now, it's close enough and it fills that void. So, the Masterpiece line, if they really did it right and did it for a price that's reasonable for these retailers, because like I said, the alternators, which had about the same level of engineering, although the sculpts weren't as good, but they did have licensed cars too, but they were only $20 a car, whereas like Blue Streak is $60 in Toys R Us. So it's like if they could make that happen at about like halfway, maybe $30 or something like that, I promise you wouldn't be able to keep them in stock. With the Star Wars Black Series, they just need to put more Star Wars figures out there and stop dealing with the crap. Because if you look through the stores, when you're going through the stores, you're always seeing the same figures that sit there. And there's the figures that nobody cares about because most parents don't want to buy that crap for their kids. They want to buy them something good. And I'm not saying that all parents are going to buy their kids a Masterpiece figure, but they're not going to buy them a figure that falls apart on purpose. They're going to sit there, oh, you're going to lose these parts. And when the kid's old enough to make that choice, they're going to either choose like the 3 3/4 inch figures or the Black Series. Same goes with the Marvel figures. They're not going to pick the figure that falls apart. They're not going to pick the stupid Hulk hands. I mean, come on. Some kids will get a kick out of like the lightsabers, but they're not gonna. No kid is gonna pick that over an actual like Darth Vader figure. These giant figures that have no posability, like aside from their arms, like Target's got like this Age of Ultron pack with a bunch of figures in it. It's like no parent's gonna buy that shit for their kids. They're overpriced too. It's like, what the fuck are you thinking? No, just get rid of the crap. Go back to actually making good figures, and the retailers will start stocking more. The retailers need to stop buying the crap and then saying, "Oh, you know what? It's because we're not ordering more of the Star Wars Black Series because the Hero Masters haven't sold out yet." That's the excuse they're going to put out. They don't look at it as, "Oh, well, we just need more Star Wars Black Series." No, it's going to be, well, we don't need more Star Wars figures because we got Star Wars toys on the shelves. We got tons of them. So, that's the mindset these retailers have. They don't think about collectors. When I was a kid, and I'm talking not like when I was true collector, but when I was an actual child, the figures I wanted was Transformers. I wanted all the Transformers. And then, it's like, oh, I was big on the Ninja Turtles, so I wanted all the Ninja Turtles. And then I was big on X-Men. I wanted all the X-Men. I didn't care for, any goofy toys. I wanted the real toys. I wanted the real thing. And if I had a child and he was into X-Men or something like that, I'd be buying him Marvel Legends figures, or at least the 3 and 3/4 inches. And that's the other thing. It's like the collectors of back in the day, they're looking back on their youth and remembering the figures that they had when they were growing up. And when they see a better version of that figure and their kid wants it, they're going to buy that. They're not going to buy that stupid figure that falls apart. They're not going to buy the Action Masters or whatever the hell they were called for the movie lines that didn't transform, they were little extra posable. Nobody's going to buy that shit for their kids. No. These retailers need to remember the collectors are what's bringing them to the stores, especially on special event days. They're not there to buy Hero Mashers. I cannot stress how much I hate the Hero Mashers, and stuff like that. I mean, even the Ninja Turtles have them. It's like, you go through the show. Every single store I went to over the last 2 days, every single one. My store at my local Walmart had 6 Rat Traps sitting on shelves. But they're not discounting them yet. They're just shelf warming. And there's no Combiner Wars stuff aside from Silverbolt and Minosaur, piles of those. And then the 2 Targets near me, they had a couple of the Legends figures, but none of the Deluxes. A couple Voyagers and a bunch of the Megatrons. The 2 other Walmarts I stopped at, same thing. And the Toys R Us, same thing. It's like, they're out of the Combiner Wars figures. They're out of the Star Wars Black figures. But what do they have plenty of? Hero Mashers. They have piles of Hero Mashers because nobody wants those shitings. There's piles of the RID figures. I mean, piles of them. They're not realizing this thing is not selling well. At least in my area. When I go there and I say, oh, there's no Transformers there, I'm not counting RID. But in truth, if I did, yeah, there's tons of Transformers. The entire series is still sitting on the shelves. They're ordering these RID figures because they're on the show. And that's the main line or whatever. It's just ridiculous. I hate it. I cannot stand it. It's why the online retailers like Big Bad Toy Store and TF Stores and stuff like that are doing such good business, is because the collectors are like, they know they're going to get screwed over by Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, and all of them. They know they're not going to get what they want, but that's not anyone's fault aside from the retailers. They just don't want to take the risk. I mean, seriously, if they would have ordered, if each store would have ordered like 10 or 20 cases of Star Wars Black figures, I bet you they wouldn't have very much left in inventory, if anything at all. They would have sold out so quick. And here's another fun little fact, just because one of the Walmarts I was at, I was looking around and they had one Star Wars Black figure left, and that was Chewie, and I didn't want Chewie. My friend didn't want Chewie. And it's like, I could be enticed into start collecting them going forward, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh man, I need to get this and this and this. I might dabble in it here and there, but it's like, Chewie's, to me, that's not a very good way to start a collection, is one single Chewie. But at this Walmart, that Chewie was $34.95. $34.95 for a Star Wars Black figure. Online, everywhere else, it's $20. But this Walmart realized, hey, these guys are going to buy it anyway, so we're going to mark the price up. And they wonder why the collectors don't buy their figures from their stores. I mean, that's fucking stupid. Why would you do that? That's just insane. It makes my head hurt. It really does. I mean, like I said, if they catered to the collectors more, realizing, hey, these guys are the ones that are going to spend the serious money in the store. These aren't the guys that are going to spend, $20 and walk away with one figure. The high-end collectors, especially on special event days, they're going to be dropping $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $600 in one go. That's something that would have sold better than anything else in that store that day had they bought enough of them. Instead, what do we get? Again, Hero Mashers. Because I love those things. They're so awesome. And, oh my god. Shit like that. It's just... I don't even know what to think with some of this stuff. It's just like I said, I mean, if like third party, if the prices were a little bit more reasonable, if third party was on the shelves, they'd be selling pretty well. Because I don't know about you guys, it's like, yeah, I love going to, going online, going to Big Bad Toy Store and placing my order or whatnot, knowing that I'm going to get the figures and it's going to show up at my door. But at the same time, I love the hunt. We all love the hunt. We're burned out from the hunt, yes, because we get skunked so often, That's why I stopped doing the toy hunt videos, because, I did 3 more from the last one. I recorded it, and every single one was, I went to like a dozen stores and didn't find a single figure to buy. Not one single figure. And it just blew my mind. Like, why aren't there these figures in the store? Why can't I get these things in the store? So then I would go home and just order it online. I just wasted, I wasted all the gas money, all my time. I wasted, I bought lunch while I'm out there. Sometimes it was breakfast and then lunch while I'm driving around. And it's just like, I don't want to spend that kind of money to get skunked. I think we all would be like, if I can hit, half a dozen stores and get an entire wave of figures in one day, driving around, that's a good day. A lot of us would be really happy with that. But now it's because they don't cater to the collectors anymore. It's just not going to happen. And then you go to those specialty stores like comic book shops, the ones that do cater to the collectors, and they're overpricing everything. It's just like, you know what? I'd rather go buy the retail price at Big Bad Toy Store, spend a little bit extra on the shipping, and stay at home. Just kick back and relax that day. It's just, I understand that toys sell to kids. That's a huge thing. Kids like to buy toys. Parents like to buy the toys kids. Or buy their kids' toys, not their kids' toys. Toys for kids. Or, yeah. You get what I'm saying. Parents like to do that. But, again, I don't know any parents that buys shitty figures. Especially at the price that they're charging for some of these shitty figures. It's like, do you want to go and buy a $20 Bumblebee that's like this big, it's like 1.5 feet tall, that doesn't transform and only moves at the shoulders, or do you want to buy him something cool, like, I don't know, Voyager class Optimus Prime? They'll probably go with the Voyager class Optimus Prime. They need, the retailers and the distributors need to stop and remember that the kids will buy the toys regardless of what you have out there. So if you have more of the collector's items, then the kids are going to be buying those things, the parents are going to be buying it for the kids, and the collectors are going to be buying it. If you split the market up too much, then nobody's gonna buy everything. And then the collectors are gonna get pissed off. The kids are gonna be like, why do I have to buy the R.I.D. figures? I don't want those things. I want an Optimus Prime that's badass, because I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, we had badass toys. I mean, we had some badass toys back in the day. None of the kids at the playground brought their shit toys to school to play around with. I mean, I remember sitting there and it's like, okay, I have the Predators. And, my friend, he's over there, he's got the Ninja Turtle set. And then my other friend over there, he's got the X-Men. And it's like, all right, so the Ninja Turtles and the X-Men joined forces to fight the Predators. There was no Hero Masher type things in that involved. yeah, we all had some shit toys in our toy box, but we didn't have those, and we didn't play with those. We went for the good stuff. We got the good stuff. And man, I miss those days. And I don't know I don't know if the sales dropped so drastically that they had to change their opinion, or maybe it's just because of this whole everything has to be so PC in this goddamn world that we can't release a Green Goblin figure for kids because he's a psychopath. Oh, you know what? That sucks. That just sucks. I mean, I was just using an example because I had a Green Goblin that's sitting right over here. But I mean, you get my point. It just, like I said, when we were kids, we had armies of stormtroopers. We had armies of this, and we had that, and Terminators, and it was a fun time to be a kid. Yeah, some of these things had stupid gimmicks, like the Terminators. You hit a button and they like explode, stuff like that, and it was stupid. But at the same time, it was still a fucking Terminator, and it wasn't a Hero Masher, and it wasn't something like just stupid looking. I mean, some of these toys are just plain stupid looking. Like I said, those big Bumblebees, the big Optimus Primes, those things just scream, this is about to say something not PC, but this just plain stupid looking. It's horrible, and nobody wants it. Nobody wants those things, and the parents will buy it for them probably when there's nothing else better to buy them, or they're too young to really know the difference. At that age, yeah, I could see it. Yeah. So, there's a market for it, but that market should be reversed. The collectors and the good figures should have more on the shelves than the crappy little, piece of shit figures that nobody wants. That's how it should be. They should reverse that so that the shit figures will only go to the parents that want to buy, like their toddler a Transformer for the first time. But even then, I bought toddlers Transformers in the past. I went with the those like one step changers, the robot heroes, rescue bots. I went with those. They transformed, so they're still better than anything else that's out right now, and better than the Hero Mashers. I'm sorry if I'm bashing on the Hero Mashers, but those things piss me off. But back on the main topic of the Star Wars figures, again, it's like all these stupid Star Wars toys that are still out there. They should put those aside, get smaller amounts of those because nobody wants them. Because it's when you're young, it's fun to have a lightsaber and go play with your friends and you're playing lightsabers. But again, I was always, me and every kid I grew up with was like, yeah, those are cool. Those are fun, but they get tiring. But if I have my little Millennium Falcon figure and just pretend that Han Solo and Chewie are flying around and we're shooting at, my other friend who had the TIE Fighter, we're shooting at each other and then the X-Wing coming down, that's more fun than, beating each other with sticks because, you bring a lightsaber to school and it's getting taken away. You bring anything to school, it's getting taken away. God. Even back then, I brought squirt guns to school one day, and I got in so much trouble. And then they were the bright green ones. Anyway, So, what is your guys' thoughts on how Force Friday went down, and in general, collecting nowadays, as opposed to, 20 years ago? Has it really gone downhill? Am I just imagining all of this, or has it really just sucked that badly? Has it really gone that downhill, or am I just out of my mind crazy? Because that's definitely a possibility. I mean, it happens.